Redstone traps are something we were always worried about. However, there used to be at least some tells that told us that something was wrong. Pressure plates, observers, buttons, and levers were always subject to suspicion. But with the introduction of wireless redstone and the Sculk sensor, what do we have to be afraid of now? That's what we're exploring today. Let's do it. In a 10 piston door. This is a simple yet brilliant way to use the sound detecting block coming from the Minecraft 1.19 updates, alright? Since the block can emit a redstone signal whenever it detects any sounds, users can actually make Sculk activated doors that automatically open whenever it hears someone coming. Though this is not necessarily the best use for the block, as I'll discuss later, other mobs can actually set this off as well. You can cover the block with wool so that it only detects sounds coming from one direction, but you know, there's still the whole mob thing. Or maybe a stable internet connection, Rogers. You're also able to find a tutorial to make a redstone signal only output where it hears a specific sound. For example, eating, which is what triggers a secret door beneath the portal in ancient city structures, which could be why they give you a golden apple in one of the chests, in case you didn't bring any food down with you, like a weirdo. But a door that seemingly knows when you're coming and opens like it's watching you, yeah, you know what, to me that's pretty terrifying, at least when you think about it like that. And of course I'm gonna think about it like that because I needed numbers for this list. And at 9, motion sensed bridges. With Sculk sensors, you can make motion activated bridges. These could be as simple as bridges with like maybe some lights on it, or bridges where the platform actually rises out from lava when you end up getting to it. This isn't exactly scary in the normal sense. Like, you'll only feel scared if you don't know that there is a bridge there, and if you don't know that there's a bridge there, you wouldn't really just run straight into a pit of lava because that just seems like a horrible idea. However, for those who don't know, just someone running into lava could be quite the sight to behold, especially if you drank milk in their face beforehand so they knew that you didn't have any potion effects. But after seeing the bridge, most of the sense of fear would leave them. But it's definitely something to troll your friends with. Like, no, seriously, dude, it's fine. You can just run across. Okay, I have Sculk sensors. I mean, it would really be funny if like you either had a kill switch, or if like you made it in such a way that if you stood in a specific block or in a specific area, the bridge just wouldn't work. So then, like, after seeing you run across, you'd turn around and be like, oh, no, come on. And then they would run and then they would just fall into lava. I'm a terrible human. And by that I don't mean that like I'm a bad person, I just mean I'm terrible at being human. The robot part of my brain usually takes over. In an 8, two-way signaling system. Do you want to send messages to a distant friend? Well, now you can with a two-way signaling system. For example, you can use it to send your friend like a request for reinforcements. You can just like light up a lamp, and then that's how they know. Or you could be like Gondor and call for aid. Or you could just be evil and send a signal that blows up a bomb, okay? The choice is yours! But also, just the idea of a two-way signaling system is insane, and this doesn't just have to be between friends, okay? Like, assuming the chunks are loaded, you can use this to do whatever you really want. Flip a lever, and then you can have the Sculk sensor like telephone pole send a signal to start a mob farm. Or maybe have an auto miner that you can activate from your bedroom, okay? Or, like I said, rig it for an explosion that makes your friend rage quit for all eternity. There's so much that you can do. It's that idea is actually kind of scary, just the fact that you can do so much destruction. And it's 7 piston traps. Remember back in the day where the funniest trap that you could make was a too-high ceiling with pressure plates and then pistons around them, so if you walked in you couldn't really walk out? Well, now you don't even have to worry about the pressure plates, and you can't really use those as a cue, because now we have Sculk sensors that can activate the pistons instead, making this completely concealed aside from the ceiling. Like, you think that this ceiling is just to protect yourself from Endermen? No, now you're stuck in an endless loop of trying to escape but being unable to. However, all you need to do is just like wait, and then the piston will eventually move down and then you're good. But if you wanted to, you could have one of these sensors also activate a minecart that then goes around in circles that would end up causing the Sculk sensors to keep activating. So even if you waited, the minecart would come by and then block you again. So yeah, this is certainly something to be weary of, even if you think that you can get out. But I mean, like, you also could if you just dig some stuff. But where's the fun in that, okay? It's like those TikToks where someone says like, oh, I got trapped in bedrock by my friend and here's how I got out. Firstly, I grabbed some wood, and they're just somehow not in bedrock anymore. It's like those, but not bedrock. Imagine if you could do that though. That would be hilarious. Oh, I would so do that to Jay. And at 6, mob drops. Having mob-based traps was always a tricky thing to do since, you have to get the player to press a button, step on a pressure plate, or pull a lever. And while some players are unable to resist such temptation, there are those that are always skeptical, like me. Take Hermitcraft April Fool's Day pranks from Season 9 for example, okay? For Grian to activate Doc's trap, he had to press a button. And while that is something that Grian would normally do, had it been anyone else, how would Doc have released all of those ghasts? Yeah, it's something that might have been kind of difficult to do, but now with Sculk sensors, Grian could have just walked past his base and then heard like 25 ghasts and then seen them all rise, instead of expecting it when he pressed a button. Or well, instead of expecting something when he pressed a button. And this works for any form of mob trap, whether it be these ghasts or zombies, skeletons, even charged creepers. They can all be dropped on another player simply because they walked by, and that's something that we should all be afraid of. Halfway through into number 5, wireless redstone. The Sculk sensor block is so revolutionary that it can forever change redstone contraptions, okay? This block can detect sound vibrations and then, from a whole load of things, and then send redstone signals, meaning that gamers can make any kind of contraption wireless. Redstone contraptions, they always used redstone dust and a particular trigger to activate them, but with Sculk sensors, now you can just use sound and activate literally anything. At this point, you should be making your walls 3 blocks thick and then having like a layer of wool between the 2 wall blocks like insulation, because any Sculk sensor, even outside your base, is going to be terrifying. The limitless destructive possibilities scare even me, and I am such a shit disturber that I was so excited when these things were first being added, okay? Just remember that crouching is always an option, and that the sneak speed enchantment is for leggings, okay? Get it at level 3 and you cruise fairly the same as like if you were walking, okay? Trust me. Activate sticky keys. In at 4, mob alert light. Mob farms are an amazing thing. They help you get a load of resources easily, but when they're also an XP farm, it can be difficult to know when you need to head on over. Pressure plates are an easy fix for a light, but you can't really place pressure plates on top of hoppers. So instead, having a Sculk sensor set up simply maybe to a redstone lamp can alert you when there are mobs available to be slain. Or you can have it just like activate an instant kill chamber for you when there's a Sculk input, so you don't really have to do anything ever. Especially when those pesky mobs somehow don't die from the fall. And trust me, that is incredibly annoying. I mean, you can put like the dripstone things, but that's not as fun. Suffocate them. Torture those creepers. They deserve it. They really do. Getting close to the end, and in number 3, light up floor. Light up floors are a horrible idea, and I'm going to tell you why. Sure, it sounds nice being able to walk around and have the floor light up underneath you, but when you're not there, who's lighting it up? If your movement is the only thing that lights up your house, when you're gone, mobs will start spawning in there. And if you're over the 30 blocks or so away, they won't move. Mobs only move if a player is within a certain distance from them. That's how we originally made proximity detectors. But that doesn't stop them from spawning more mobs. So if your house only has a light up floor and you're not close enough, mobs will still spawn, but not move because you're not close enough, and then they won't activate the Sculk sensors that light up your floor, thus keeping it dark and allowing for more monsters to spawn. Then, all of a sudden, when you're in range, the creepers are throwing a rave in your house because you didn't put down any torches, okay? So, don't have a light up floor, at least as your main and only source of light. I had to actually stop Jay from putting this on another list because he thought it was a good idea, so trust me, it is a bad one. Don't do it. At least put some lanterns as well. Trust. But ultimately, in at number 2, laser wall. A laser wall is actually something that I made, way back, okay, in a top 10 gaming video. I used the Sculk sensors added in the snapshots to make a mob-activated laser wall. It was just wooden posts with end rods between them, but when activated, the floor beneath those end rods became magma blocks, which would then hurt any mob that stepped on them. But they also wouldn't try to step on them because they couldn't get past the end rods, so they would just try to go through the main door. So ultimately it didn't really work, but it was definitely an interesting concept that I enjoyed coming up with. The system was simple and consisted of only 3 Sculk sensors on either side with a row of tileable block swappers by El Mango. One Sculk sensor on each of the corners and then one in the middle, and it was pretty cool, at least in my opinion. because I made it. Not knowing much about Redstone, I was proud of the concept and the design, but I ultimately couldn't really come up with anything cooler, okay? But it did make for a great thumbnail. And yes, I put it on this list just to shamelessly plug that I can and like to do cool things. Okay, I gotta boast every now and then, right? Aside from just punching the Ender Dragon to death, because I talk about that too much. Although I did do it. I did it. And finally, in at number 1, silent but explosive. That's right, you thought I was going to say deadly, but no, explosive. Sculk sensors and the ability to silence them is such a huge game changer when it comes to TNT traps, okay? If you watched or watch any of the Last Life videos, those guys love their instant TNT explosions. But usually, it would have to be a pressure plate or an observer with a block on top that they would mine, and they always got suspicious of those. But with Sculk sensors now, they can place any instant explosion trap anywhere as long as they have a Sculk sensor and some TNT minecarts, which is absolutely terrifying. Like, I don't know if they have any rules against that, but if they don't, any member of that server can just be walking along in the middle of nowhere and then boom, they've lost their life. And given that this season they all have soulmates that their lives are linked to, it's double the problem now. Even if you're being safe, if your soulmate's out there running around, you can die. Oh my god. Honestly, at this point, blast resistance is probably the best enchantment that they can get on their armor, especially given that they can't wear helmets, okay? So, good luck, Green. You and Scar are the last green names. Didn't expect that, especially when Scar went into the deep dark. But silent Sculk sensors are really what should be your worst nightmare, especially given Scar's tendency to just run around all willy-nilly, and then also all the red names that are currently out for your throats. Yeah, maybe you wanna think about that. It's not like you're gonna watch this video. That's all the time we have for today, friends. Be sure you hit like and subscribe so that I can get on the next season of Last Life, because I think that would be really fun, and I wanna blow up a lot of people and have it actually not be mean. So yeah, thank you all so much for watching. I have been in Shaw Rank Connor Monroe, and I'll see you in another video.